Renaissance, 16th century. Many Western European companies persuade global aspiration and religious reform and introduction of printing press, right? So pretty much just summing it up, they pretty much whitewashed everything. You know, this is at a museum, St. Louis, Missouri, and at the Forest Park, and you can see how everything was whitewashed. It says in the Bible, you know, they changed the images to look like them instead when they came in power. The Romans' belly wound was healed, and they came back in power. And then they went and whitewashed everything. So you see the hair and everything like that. But no, the Jews were dark skin, all dark skin. That's why you could look up the Russian icons and it'll show you that. It says holds the mummy of a priest named a man that I see now, and I just pretty much just sounded that out. His name and his image appear to the left side below. Yeah, but he's pretty short though. Was it a kid? Well, maybe not. So this at the St. Louis Museum, this is an actual mummy, right? And then I had a guy online. He was like, "Man, no, all the the Egyptians were so-called pale-skinned people, right? But even here, if you look on the tomb, if you look on the mummy, you know, there's a dark-skinned one right there. So clearly he didn't know what he was talking about. Here's another one, you know. So, I mean, it's very simple. You know, pretty much here's two more right here. And this is pretty much what they did, mummifications because of their religion of thinking they'd come back, you know, but us Israelites, we were buried. We buried in caves, you know, going back. Just a little bit of history. See, this is the inside. That's how he looks like inside of it. Right here in the museum. So these museums be like nice to see things because you have coins, actual coins, right? So right here you have Greek coins, right? And then you have the image of who's the ruling class in Greek. And it clearly shows you. So we know the Greeks were Edomites during the Hellenistic coinage era, right? Derek, the kneeling king. What else we have? Right here you have Alexander the Great, the head of Alexander the Great. Right, so through the history, you get your answers through the history, pretty much. So if you was to say that, you know, the Greeks were Edomites, and you had to ask, okay, well, how do Edomites look? And what's the image of the Edomites? Then you would get your answer. And then you would match that up with today and say, well, who are these people today? And you would get your answer. Early Roman, which, look at the Romans, pretty much the same image because they're the same people, the Greeks and the Romans, which their nationality in the Bible will go back to the man Esau, the Edomites. Got Philip II, I believe, which is, you can correct me on that, but Alexander the Great father, right? The Macedonian, which goes back to Haman, the Macedonian, which you read about in the book of Esther, which he goes back to the king, which goes back to Amalekiah, which was a grandson of Esau, King Agag, which was an Amalekite. You know, so history is very important. That's an Edomite. That's an Edomite. Well. Look what we got here. There's more here, right? So it says American on the Nile. It says in many ways, right? I'm just going to skim through it. 1700s, late 1700s through the 1800s. He was a member of a prominent Jewish family in Baltimore, Maryland, right? But we know the curses that the true Israelites will be under. You know, how can you be a prominent Jewish family, a rich Jewish family? You see what I'm saying? It says he ran a successful lottery and banks with his brother until the age of 33. This is all the way in the 1700s. But if you go to Deuteronomy 28, it says, starting at verse 15, it says the curses will be on the Israelites and pretty much we would be unsuccessful in our businesses in the basket of our store. But they had a successful lottery and bank, you know, so just the history, you know, that's pretty much what it's about. It's the history. Travelers, you know, the type of money you have to do to travel, you know, the type of money your family has to have, especially during these times, you know. What was happening to the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans in the late 1700s and early 1800s? Did we have successful banks and lotteries? You know, so the history tells the truth. The native side, moccasins. So this is original, right? The original moccasins. Now you could go to Journeys and get some moccasins, but these was handmade. You could clearly see, and they still got a little style to it. It's pretty nice though. You know, still pretty nice. Now we clearly know the fringes, right? So like I keep saying through this little small tour that we're doing, it's all about the history. You know, you get a lot of questions answered throughout the history. The fringes, you know. Dakota, Lakota, you know, so the fringes was a big part of the history. Don't really see the border of blue, but as you can see over here, even the fringes. It's always fringes. These are all nice shoes. See the little kid shoes? Look, the garments with the fringes was just no different than pretty much what we wear on the highways and byways. We just have the border blue going around. Numbers 15 and 38. Look, fringes. Because the Native Americans, which we know are Israelites, clearly. So this was the god of the Aztecs right there, as you see, Quetzalcoatl. Am I saying that right? Now, if you, the movie that's coming out, which is the Black Panther, right? The Wakanda Forever, the new Black Panther that's coming out. They, at least in the previews, because the movie ain't came out yet, they speak of Quetzalcoatl being the feather serpent, which is the god of the other tribe that's in that movie. So let's get some information on it, you know. This sculpture may depict the Aztec deity known as the wind god, one of the most important manifestations of Quetzalcoatl, which we really know that's really just a play on Yahweh Shai when he came over. Because he said he had other sheep out of this fold, and he came over with the 10 lost tribes of Israel. That's the Native Americans, Latinos in America. He came over to give them the gospel too, after giving the gospel to the southern kingdom, which was Judah, Benjamin, scattered in their Levi. He came over here to the 10 lost tribes in America, and they called him Quetzalcoatl, the wind god, because he came from the skies, right? Pretty much just breaking it down to Aztecs, which we know are Israelites, but today they're Mexicans. They call themselves Mexicans. The Aztecs developed a system of traders and merchants known as the Poteca to manage the movement of parters and goods across the landscape, right? Showing a deity, right? So what happened with the, you know, they speak Spanish today, called Mexicans, because they were conquered by the Spaniards. But what happened to the Aztecs is, after they were conquered, they told them that their gods were demons and devils, and then they converted them to be Catholics. So now today, they don't call themselves Aztecs anymore. They call themselves Mexicans, and they're Catholics. But originally, they were Aztecs, and they had a god named Quetzalcoatl, which is a play of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but Yahushua is his actual name. So just a little back history. It's cool just to see it, So when you look at it, it's just a depiction of Yahushua. See? This looks like the fringes on the back, but who knows, It's pretty cool to see. So check out that movie that's coming out, the Black Panther, and you're going to see them talk about the feathered serpent God, which it speaks about that in the Bible. That comes from the Bible, and you're going to hear them speak about Quetzalcoatl, and just think of Yahushua when you think of it. Hey, that's pretty edifying to see that. So this is another one right here. Now, not that all their gods, because they were going off, they were sinning. So it's 2nd Esdras chapter 13. They came to a land where no man ever dwelt, and they were supposed to keep the law, statutes, commandments, but they weren't. So you have to be able to have the spiritual discernment. Like Quetzalcoatl, we know that's a play on Yahushua because it talks about the feathered serpent, which speaks about it in the Bible. But they had other gods and stuff too that were not real gods, and that's the reason why the Lord allowed the Spaniards to come up against them. So who knows? You have to do some research, which I'm just hearing. I haven't did research on this, but it says "or the old God" right there. So to me, when it says the old God, that's probably talking about Yahweh. It could be, it could not be, But it says Valley of Mexico. I'm sorry, I'm low on battery, but this is the Yoruba people, right? And it's just showing the order, how they had the leadership is celebrated on the door from top to bottom, the Yoruba people, the Nigerians. Look at the technology they had all the way back then. That's a bike. But shit, it don't look like it has pedals on it. It could be a fucking motorcycle, even that they had back then. You see the fringes, you see the garments, but you know that the Yoruba people are actually claim to be Israelites from the tribe of Judah. They claim to be Jews. But I didn't know they would have this here, You got to do your research on the Yoruba people. Of course, they don't give us credit. Same thing with us in the States. They don't give us credit as being the true Israelites, so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos. But we know that we are the true Israelites, and that's about to be exposed. Like upstairs, they had everything whitewashed, and then downstairs, they want to put, see it, fringes. So you just got to do your research. This is just a quick little tour of different things that's going on. Ghana, there's Israelites still in Ghana. Really all spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth, because that's the prophecy. But one of the common themes that you always see is fringes. Glass beads, fiber. You see? So they got some stuff, man. You gotta go in these museums, you'd be surprised at what you find. So we know the Romans were Edomites, right? And we know the prophecies about Rome. We know Rome, daily wound being healed, and them calling themselves Americans today, Mystery Babylon, right? Which are just the Romans, NATO, the European, they all go back to the ancient Romans, right? You wanted to see how a Roman looks, see the difference from my look and their look. That's how the Roman ruling class looked. See? That's a Roman woman, a Roman young man. All right. Another one. Right? So it's the same thing. You ask, how do the Edomites look? How do the Romans look? Same people, same answer. That's a Roman man. That's what an Edomite looks like. This is what an Edomite kid looks like. Don't look like my kids. Don't look like me. because we're the Israelites. Just that simple. And this is it right here. Remember Genesis 27 that Esau was blessed with the sword. Pretty much. This is what gave him his power. Came over here to the Americas, fought against the natives. This year right here is what gave him the advantage, which is technology that really they say came from China or the Japanese. You could correct me on that. But the Lord gave them technology. These right here set it off, People are still fighting with these. So if people are fighting with those, and you got this, and you can shoot from a distance, they give you a major advantage. And that's how they got America. Alright, now check this out. You see that? The natives, garments, more fringes on them with the feathers. You see that? But look at the technology. Look at how they build underneath the mounds. They call it pyramid mounds. Look, there's tunnels. Right? That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. Mid-1900s, 19th centuries. It says surround a towering cypress trees surround 9 pyramid mounds, right? And it says it still exists here in Louisiana. That's crazy. 1800s, he traveled there for a center for religious and political ceremonies. I wonder what those were. Which all goes back to them having those customs because they're Israelites too. Pretty cool to see. Gotta watch out, see the alligators and shit over there.